The anime begins by showing the Saitama Prefectural Tournament final heating up as Ichinan High School faced off against the formidable Matsukaze Kuru football team. The score stood at 1-0, with Matsukaze in the lead. Ichinan's star striker, Isagi Yoichi, had only one thing on his mind: to score the game-winning goal. As the clock ticked down, Yoichi fought his way through the opposition, determined to reach the opposing defense area and take the shot. Just as he was about to pull the trigger, he noticed a gesture from one of his teammates, and made the split-second decision to pass the ball instead. However, the play did not go as planned. Despite their best efforts, the Ichinan team was unable to capitalize on the opportunity, and the opposing team counterattacked, scoring the decisive goal and securing their victory with a final score of 2-0. The defeat was a bitter pill for Yoichi and his teammates to swallow, as it meant they would not be advancing to the national level. The disappointment was palpable as the reality of the loss set in. Yoichi was feeling down after the crushing defeat, but when he arrived home, he was greeted with a surprise that would change his life forever. His parents handed him an invitation letter from the Japan Football Union, informing him that he had been selected as one of the participants in a special training program. Excited by this opportunity, Yoichi quickly accepted the invitation, not realizing that he was not the only one. As it turned out, Kira Ryosuke, the striker from the opposing team, had received the same invitation. The two rivals were brought together at the remote soccer training facility, Blue Lock, where they would be put through a grueling survival boot camp under the watchful eye of coach Junpachi Eigo. The goal was to develop the ultimate striker for the Japanese national football team. As the 300 selected players gathered in the training room, the coach congratulated them on their selection and outlined the rigorous program that lay ahead. With all the players gathered, Coach Eigo got straight to business. He explained that each player's ability had been measured and that the results were reflected in the rankings on their uniforms. The rankings would change based on the results of the drills, and the top 5 players would earn a spot on the Japan national team for the World Cup. However, those who were eliminated from the program would lose their chance to play at the national level. Eigo watched from a surveillance room as the players began the first test, which involved groups of players trying to eliminate each other by hitting their opponents with the ball. The pressure was on as the participants had only 136 seconds to prove their worth. Yoichi, who was ranked at the lowest level, quickly realized that he needed to target the strongest players if he wanted to advance. He teamed up with Meguro Bachira and set their sights on the top-ranked player, Ryosuke. Despite the odds stacked against them, Yoichi and Bachira worked together, gradually whittling down the competition until only Ryosuke was left. In the final seconds of the test, Yoichi and Bachira made their move and managed to eliminate Ryosuke, securing their place in the next round of the program. The journey to becoming the ultimate striker was just beginning, and Yoichi was determined to rise to the top. After the successful elimination of Ryosuke, Yoichi and Bachira joined the other players in the Blue Lock dormitory as they prepared for the next test. As they practiced together, Bachira revealed to Yoichi the reason why he had passed the ball to him during the match. According to Bachira, there was a monster inside him that made him do it. He explained that this monster figure appeared to him while he was dribbling and told him what to do on the field. Bachira also mentioned that Yoichi had a monster inside him too. At first, Yoichi was skeptical, but as he reflected on the moments when he kicked the ball toward Ryosuke, he realized that there was a force within him that took control. He couldn't help but be curious about this mysterious monster figure that seemed to be a part of him. Yoichi was determined to uncover the truth and learn more about the monster within him. After several weeks of intense training, Yoichi and the other players noticed a change in their rankings. Igarashi Guruma's rank had improved, putting him just one level below Yoichi's rank. However, despite the improvement in their rankings, Yoichi and Guruma were still considered to be in the lower tier and were not entitled to the same privileges as the higher-ranked players. Eigo announced that the first selection would consist of 5 teams facing off against each other, with only the top 2 teams qualifying for the next round. He emphasized that the players needed to focus on scoring goals and not be too fixated on their positions. The players were tasked with starting from scratch and playing soccer from zero. Yoichi, one of the lower-ranked players, is a part of Team Z and is about to face off against Team X in the first round of the competition. Despite being designated as the attacker, Yoichi's plan goes awry when Raichi Jingo steals the ball and tries to score a solo goal, causing the previously organized formation of Team Z to fall into disarray. In the chaos, Shoei Baro from Team X pounces on the opportunity and manages to slip past Team Z's defense, scoring the first goal for his team. While the members of Team Z point fingers at each other for the blunder, Team X demonstrates their teamwork by celebrating their goal as one. The game continued, with Team Z attempting to stop Baro's advance toward the goal. But to their surprise, Baro passes the ball to the back, allowing his teammate to score another goal. Bachira, noticing this, approaches Yoichi and suggests that he take a shot at the goal while he provides support. With a precise pass from Bachira, Yoichi receives the ball and dribbles forward, but is met with resistance from Baro. Quick on his feet, Yoichi passes the ball to the right side of the field where Kinigami Rensuke is ready to receive it. Thanks to their coordinated efforts, Team Z finally manages to change the score. Despite the goal, their defeat at the hands of Team X still looms over them, threatening their position in the competition. After the match, Jingo approaches Yoichi, demanding an explanation for why he passed the ball to Rensuke. In the locker room, Yoichi explains his conclusion, citing Eigo's advice to play soccer starting from zero with the aim of scoring a goal, like Baro had done. After the match and Building 5 concludes, Eigo shares the news that Team V had defeated Team Y with a score of 8-0. He acknowledges that what Yoichi said was partially correct, but that they need to find a way to change 0 to 1. According to Eigo, they need a weapon that can break down their opponent's formation. Inspired by Eigo's explanation, Yoichi and his teammates begin to analyze their strengths and weaknesses while playing soccer, so that Wataru Kuon can come up with a strategy for Team Z. However, Yoichi realizes that he doesn't know his own strengths or weaknesses. While pondering over this, he is approached by Rensuke, who brings him some food as a gesture of gratitude for passing the ball to him. Rensuke believes that Yoichi's quick thinking is one of his strengths on the field. Later, when Yoichi informs Kuon of his advantage, Kuon holds another team meeting to discuss their playing strategy. They decide to rotate positions, with each player taking turns as the attacker. As the match against Team Y begins, Bachira moves forward to break through the defense, but Team Y continuously blocks his efforts. Despite their struggles, Team Z is unable to score. Instead, Team Y capitalizes on a missed shot from Rensuke and converts it into a counter-attack, scoring a goal. For the rest of the game, Team Y focuses on buying time. When Yoichi realizes that opponent Iki Niko is attempting to control the game, he quickly rushes back to retrieve the ball and passes it to Gagamaru Gin, allowing him to score. Yoichi tries to block all the balls headed toward Niko, to prevent the opposing team from taking control of the match. However, Niko's strong analytical skills on the field allow him to take command of the situation. With only 1 minute left in the game, Okawa Hibiki of Team Y appears to pass the ball to Niko to attack Team Z's defense. Determined not to let his team lose, Yoichi runs back to prevent a pass and regains possession of the ball. Sprinting forward, he passes the ball to Rensuke, who then passes it to Bachira. Without hesitation, Bachira sets up Yoichi with a perfect pass into the opponent's defensive area, allowing him to score the winning goal for Team Z. The conversation between Yoichi and Hyoma turns into a discussion about their strengths and weaknesses in playing football, and how they can use them to help their team in future matches. They both come to the conclusion that knowing their own strengths and weaknesses is crucial for becoming better players and for helping their team win. As they watch the match recording, they analyze each move, pointing out areas where they could have improved, and noting their achievements. The conversation ends with Hyoma advising Yoichi to always trust his intuition and use his special ability to control the game whenever necessary. Yoichi nods in agreement, grateful for the valuable lessons he has learned and determined to continue to work hard to become a better player. The following day, the participants hit the training grounds with renewed vigor, eager to see the updated rankings from Coach Eigo. Yoichi's hard work paid off as he rose to the top of the rankings in Team Z, with the team now relying on him as their key player. As they continued their training, Yoichi and his friends took a closer look at the results of the bottom 5 teams' matches, analyzing each team's strengths and weaknesses. They soon realized that Team W posed a significant threat, thanks to the incredible combination play of the Wanema brothers. Determined to overcome this challenge, Yoichi and the rest of Team Z shifted their strategy, rotating their formation every 30 minutes to catch their opponents off guard. They were determined to give it their all in their quest to become the ultimate striker for the Japan national football team. The much-anticipated 7th match between Team Z and Team W had finally begun. Both teams were eager to showcase their skills and strategy on the field. As expected, the Wanema brothers proved to be a formidable opponent with their lightning-fast moves and precise shots. Despite Team Z's best efforts to stop their advance, the brothers continued to press forward. In a tense moment, Hyoma found himself facing off against Yoichi, who had retrieved the ball. But instead of focusing solely on the game, Yoichi had other intentions. He tried to use the opportunity to bring Hyoma out of his dark past and remind him of his true potential as a player. Just as the game was about to take a turn, Gurumu made a swift pass to Kuon, who executed a beautiful header that sailed into the opponent's goal. Kuon's score marked the beginning of his unstoppable run on the field, as he went on to score 2 additional goals, securing his position as the top scorer of the match. As the second half of the match began, Koo-won suddenly made a surprising move. He allowed the ball to slip from his control and into the hands of the opponent. Jingo was incensed with Koo-won's actions, but the latter could only apologize. Yoichi, who had been watching closely, suspected that Koo-won had made a deal with the Wanema brothers. His suspicions were soon confirmed as Koo-won finally admitted to having made a secret agreement. In exchange for leaking Team Z's strategy to the Wanema brothers, Koo-won had been promised the title of top scorer, even if his team lost. This revelation sent shockwaves through the team and caused them to fall behind as Team W scored another goal. Hyoma, who had been a talented football player since childhood with his exceptional speed, suddenly found himself struggling to keep up with the opposing team. He had become insecure and overwhelmed by the intense competition. As the game progressed, Hyoma's thoughts drifted back to his past, particularly to his days in high school when he had joined the football club. At that time, he had caused a rift between himself and the Wanema brothers after he asked for the removal of seniority, wanting to become the club's mainstay player. The request had not gone over well with the brothers, and the situation only worsened when Hyoma suffered a debilitating injury to his ligament, which made it difficult for him to play at his best. As the final minutes of the game approached, Hyoma was on the brink of giving up. But as he watched Yoichi fight until the very end, he was suddenly filled with a newfound determination. With a newfound determination, Hyoma was able to shake off the shackles of his past and charge forward. He burst through the opponent's defense with lightning speed, leaving the opposing players struggling to keep up. Yoichi, who was aware of Hyoma's presence, quickly made a pass to him. With the ball in his possession, Hyoma easily scored a goal that brought the game to a tie. This sudden turn of events gave Team Z a chance to continue fighting in the next match. Meanwhile, Koo-won was faced with the wrath of Team W, who felt that they had been misled by him. Despite their best efforts, Yoichi and the rest of the team were unable to protect Koo-won as he was attacked by the opposing players. In the end, Koo-won was forced to leave the field, unable to continue playing. Mikage Reo, who had always had an easy life and had everything handed to him on a silver platter, was growing bored. He yearned for something more challenging and exciting, and he set his sights on becoming a world-renowned football player. Despite his parents' objections, Reo was determined to pursue his dream. It wasn't until he entered high school that Reo met Nagi Seishiro, who was a talented football player. Reo was immediately struck by Seishiro's skills and his passion for the sport, and his desire to become a world-class footballer grew even stronger. As Team Z gathered to discuss their precarious third-place standing, tensions ran high. Jingo was furious with Koo-won for betraying the team and was ready to take matters into his own hands. However, Yoichi stepped in, trying to prevent any violence. Koo-won, meanwhile, was unapologetic and seemed confident in his position as the top scorer. Despite the turmoil within the team, Yoichi was determined to find a way to lead Team Z to victory against the formidable Team V. In his search for inspiration, he found himself at the practice field where he encountered Baro, who had become the top scorer for Team Y with over 10 goals. The encounter left Yoichi feeling both hopeless and motivated, as he realized the level of competition they were up against. Despite Baro's unfriendly demeanor, Yoichi approached him and asked about the technique he used to score goals without the help of his teammates. Baro revealed the technique for kicking the ball over a long distance and demonstrated it by accurately scoring from more than 20 meters away. Yoichi was awed by Baro's skills and thanked him for the lesson. The encounter filled Yoichi with excitement for the upcoming match. The highly anticipated match between Team Z and Team V had finally arrived, and Yoichi was on the front line, leading his team to victory. With his newfound skills, he was able to anticipate the opponent's movements and successfully prevent balls from reaching Seishiro. At the same time, he led counterattacks by making precise high ball passes to Gin. Despite their efforts, Gin was unable to convert, hitting the crossbar and sending the ball back onto the field. Seishiro took advantage of the opportunity, striking a measured long-range shot that gave Team V their first goal of the match. As the match wore on, Team Z found themselves trailing by a single point. Despite their determination, their attempts at a counterattack repeatedly fell short. Meanwhile, Seishiro effortlessly found the back of the net with a powerful long-range strike. At the same time, Hyoma was matched up against Tsurugi Zantetsu, a formidable opponent from the V team who posed the challenge with his equal speed on the pitch. When the pressure mounted, the players of Team Z started to lose hope. But Bachira still held on to his excitement, dribbling solo and effortlessly breaking through the opposing defense. With his impressive display, Yoichi and the rest of the team were reinvigorated, including Rensuke, who confidently took a long-range shot, finding the back of the net. These consecutive goals pushed Team V into the lead with a score of 3-2 at the end of the first half. During the halftime break, Yoichi focused on finding a way to improve his play and create opportunities for his team. When the second half kicked off, Hyoma found himself struggling to dribble past Zantetsu. But with quick thinking, he launched a long pass that caught Zantetsu off guard and allowed Hyoma to chase down the ball and score an equalizing goal. However, the momentum was short-lived as Team V employed a new strategy and Seishiro used his exceptional skills to regain the lead, making the score 4-3 in favor of Team V. With just 13 minutes left in the match, Yoichi finally unlocked his potential, reading the opponent's movements with ease. He made a crucial steal from Seishiro, passing the ball to Hyoma, who was marked by Zantetsu. Hyoma took a shot on goal, but it hit the crossbar. Gin also had a chance, but his shot was blocked by the opposing keeper. However, Rensuke's quick dribbling and well-placed shot finally gave Team Z a much-needed goal, exactly as Yoichi had predicted. As the match progressed, Kuon was suddenly hit by memories of his past in high school where he played for the football club and dreamed of winning the national championship. But he eventually left his team to join the Blue Lock to achieve that goal. However, with Rensuke surpassing him as the team's top scorer, Kuon's position was at risk of being overtaken if Team Z lost the match. In a last-ditch effort to protect his place on the team, Kuon committed a foul against Seishiro, giving Team V a chance to score with a free kick. With the match reaching its climax, Reo stepped up, eager to make a name for himself. He took a shot on goal, but the opposing keeper made a great save. However, the ball remained loose on the field, giving Team V a chance to attack. Jingo was able to stop Zantetsu's attempt, but the counterattack from Seishiro was relentless. The entire Team Z defense worked together to block the shot, and with a bit of luck, Gin was able to secure the ball before it found the back of the net. With only a few minutes left in the game, Yoichi knew that this was his team's last chance to mount a comeback. He used his keen vision to assess the situation on the field and take control of the ball. Working with his teammates, they dominated the middle of the field, until finally, Yoichi made the decisive goal that secured victory for Team Z. After the match, both Team Z and Team V advanced to the next round of training, while the other three teams were eliminated and had to leave the Blue Lock dormitory. Following the announcement of the results, all of the remaining participants were required to undergo intense physical training. A few days later, they gathered once again in a room where Eigo revealed to them that they were the only ones who had made it this far in the training program. Despite their success so far, they were still considered to be at the bottom rung and would have to work even harder to prove themselves in the upcoming selection process. Eigo warned them that the second phase of training would be even more challenging, as they would be evaluated individually. The first stage of the second training involved each participant having to score 100 goals in a special room equipped with a holographic keeper that mimicked opposing players. They had just 90 minutes to complete this task. Upon completion, all participants were instructed to form teams of 3. Yoichi found himself teaming up with Bachira and Seishiro. Reo was left disappointed when he learned that Seishiro had chosen to be on Yoichi's team instead of his. Not long after, Eigo revealed that the winning team of the 3 versus 3 games would get to pick one player from the losing team. And so, after several intense training sessions, the teams finally had the chance to form a full team of 5 players. Excitement filled the air as Yoichi and his team were set to face off against Ito Shirin's team, the top-ranked participant and younger brother of the brilliant midfielder, Itoshi Saya. Yoichi had been eagerly awaiting this match, as he had always dreamed of testing his skills against the talented Saya brothers. The match was underway, with Yoichi's team in white taking on Rin's team in red. The start of the game was intense, with both teams exchanging goals and the score remained tied. However, as the match progressed, Rin's team started to gain the upper hand. The Reds played with tenacity and precision, making it difficult for the Whites to keep up. In the end, it was Rin who sealed the win for his team with a magnificent solo effort, grabbing the ball and weaving his way past the white team's defense to score the decisive goal. With their hard-fought victory, Rin's team claimed their spot in the next round and made their choice. They selected Bachira to join their ranks. Yoichi and Seishiro advanced to the second stage, where they faced a familiar foe in Narahaya Asahi, Yoichi's former teammate on Team Z. They also had to contend with Baro, a self-centered player who was not selected in the third round. The game started with a setback, as Baro managed to steal the ball from Seishiro and put his team ahead. But Yoichi and Seishiro quickly rallied, with Seishiro scoring a goal off a well-placed pass from Yoichi. Baro was not pleased and tried to respond with a shot from the kickoff, but his efforts sailed wide of the goal. Asahi, who had possession of the ball, made a quick pass to Baro, setting up a goal that leveled the score and set the stage for a closely contested match. Once again in possession of the ball, Baro passed it to Asahi, hoping for a return pass that would allow him to score. But Asahi had other ideas, opting to take a shot at the goal himself. The shot was blocked by the blue team's defender, known for his sturdy defense. However, Baro was in a prime position near the goal and quickly pounced on the loose ball, scoring to give his team the lead over Yoichi's team. The next round saw both teams go on the offensive, exchanging goals in a high-stakes battle. During the match, Yoichi noticed that Asahi had a tendency to position himself in blind spots, allowing him to sneak up on the opposing team undetected. Despite their efforts, Seishiro managed to score another goal for their team. Baro and Asahi tried to respond, but their shot hit the post and the ball ended up in Seishiro's possession. In response, Yoichi advanced forward, ready to receive the ball and take a shot at goal. But he was closely marked by Baro, who was determined to stop him. Realizing the situation, Yoichi tried to outmaneuver Baro, using his cunning and skill to create an opening. His efforts paid off, as he was able to secure the ball and score the winning goal, securing victory for his team. In the end, Yoichi ultimately chose Baro to join his team. But before doing so, he took the time to express his gratitude to Asahi for providing him with the valuable opportunity to recognize and overcome his weakness during the game. The moral that can be learned from this anime is about the importance of self-awareness and self-improvement. By recognizing and understanding their own strengths and weaknesses, individuals can strive toward personal growth and achieve their full potential. We should never stop seeking self-improvement, and should continuously strive to be the best version of ourselves.